they don't have an offensive line.
Jesse the Body and Squirrel live.
Good afternoon, you beautiful people. You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest sports podcast in the land. This is called Squirreling Around. You're with me and my boy Brandon Squirrel Sapp, which is actually our host. I'm your lovely co-host, Jesse the Body. We're doing a new thing. We're trying to switch it up just in case there's days Brandon can't make it. But let's get right on with the get on here. We're going to keep with the NFL. We can throw some fantasy in here and there. But I'm going to ask you right off the get.
Yeah.
Besides stepping out of the back of the end zone the other day and pulling a Dan Orlovsky, Gardner Minshew did pretty decent for y'all.
Yes, he did.
Do you continue to maybe start him, especially against the team like next week, what you're playing? Or do you go right and put Anthony Richardson back in?
You know, I mean, that's actually a very, very good question. I think that there's a lot of people like myself that would love to see Anthony Richardson back in. But there's also a lot of people like myself that is smart enough to say, listen, he was hurt that quickly. And it was a tackle that it was he kind of got slammed. His head got slammed back in the end zone, you know, or just had a bounce. But it's a point of, listen, Gardner did us well against Baltimore. I think Gardner has a few things of what it takes. Even this week against LA, I think you play him. I think you let Aaron or Anthony Richardson's. It's kind of weird saying AR, but not Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson to, get really past that concussion protocol and not just, are you good to play? All right, let's play him. And then he gets back into this Tua thing, where he's got a few games where he's out, and then our guy just keeps getting injured. I think that a lot of teams are starting to do that now where, hey, slow down, let him, especially with somebody you drafted number 3. Okay?
Yeah.
Your first pick of the draft at number 3, when you kind of reached me and one of my other best friends, Zach Stewart, huge Florida Gator, is, listen, yeah. we were excited about it, but then we were also thinking about it like, I don't think he's ready for this now yet. He played a few games, he's proven he can do it. He's proven he can do it.
That's the thing about him. He hasn't played. He didn't play that many college football games.
I start Gardner Minshew this. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So along the same lines, we're gonna stick with the same game. And go with Lamar Jackson. Do you think Lamar Jackson is trying to do too much? Do you think Lamar Jackson is trying to be something? Not that he's not, because we can see by the numbers that he can. But do you think that it's him trying to do too much, or do you think that the coaching is just not good there right now for that offense and defense of what they're doing?
What team was it again?
The Ravens, Lamar.
No, I was just joking because we say it so many times about how many teams have to deal with this situation.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, is that defense in shambles? Sometimes I do believe so. Is that offense in shambles? Sometimes I do believe so. But can they have one of the best offenses in the league? Week in and week out, I think sometimes. Can they have some of the best defense in the league? 7-8 years ago, yeah, absolutely. Terrell Suggs and Ray Lewis, but this is not Baltimore of old. Let's get them boys out of that mindset. This is a brand new franchise with Lamar Jackson and the way they play defense. And because a lot of times, dude, they're chasing. Yeah. And if that run game is not working for Baltimore, Baltimore's not working because they are not a pass-heavy offense. Yes, they have the second best pass-catching tight end in the league in Mandrews, but they don't throw him that ball that much, because they're so focused on J.K. Dobbins. Well, they were on J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and guys like that. And let's get the ball out. Let's run. I need 100 yards on the ground from Lamar Jackson. You got to think about it like that.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get 100 yards on the ground, they don't do so well because he's not passing for 350, 320, 290 even. It's not there.
Yeah.
Defensive wise, though, to your question, I don't think they can stop I've said it plenty of times. A nosebleed, even with a tissue. It's it's going to keep on keeping on with him, and you could see that even with Indianapolis's mediocre offense. Was I think we're not on the top tier offenses right now. When Anthony Richardson's up there, our offense is way elevated. But when we get Gardner Minshew, it's a steady, smaller bing, 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 bing offense.
And when you can rush the ball for 130 yards like you did last week. I mean,
exactly. And there's not so many explosive plays, I would say, when Gardner's there. But Anthony Richardson gives you that another element.
Yeah, my thing, like I keeping on that subject, was Todd Monken a good hire there? I mean, just because what he did in Georgia, and of course he gave Stetson Bennett, runs at Heisman's and national championships, and I get it, but it's like, man, I know you lost your running backs, but to me it seems like you just said they do have an opportunity to be a dangerous weapon in the NFL and a dangerous team, and we really haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, for real.
So this is going to be a question about a certain group of teams, and then I'm going to sort of kind of have a question about each of those teams and between it. Okay. So we have three 0-3 teams in the NFL right now.
Okay.
Even if you don't watch football, if you just became a Taylor Swift fan, you know who one of these teams are because they just put one of these teams on a poster board, and that's Kansas City Chiefs. That's the Bears. We got the Vikings, and we got the Broncos.
Wow. Two teams in your division.
2 teams in my division. Trash division. But hey, we got the Super Bowl winners coming.
Wow, you got an 0-3, 2 0-3s, a 1-2. And a 3-1 or 2-1, right? 3-1,
a 3-1, a 2-2, and 2 0-3s. So without the last two, we're up there in the divisions of because the Bills or the Dolphins are going to lose one this week. But anyways, so we got the Bears, the Vikings, and the Broncos.
Yeah.
Out of those 3 teams, you're probably on the same thing as me. I think the Vikings should not be there. I think they should not be there.
Just listen to this real quick. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Alexander Madison, TJ Hawkinson, KJ Osborne. I mean, that alone.
Addison.
That alone. You should have got one win there somewhere. So, there's again that thing with Minnesota. These one-win game, one score games that they keep. Last year they were on the winning side of a bunch of them. That's not happening now. And you see that when you have games that are so close and your defenses are keeping you in it and your offenses are keeping you in it and 1 or 2 things goes wrong because Kirk Cousins is not the main man to get it done. He's just not the main. He's just not prime time. It's just not his thing. Under the lights, it's not his thing. When he plays a game that's not on TV, nobody's there, he'll win. You put him on Thursday night at 8:30, he's like, what's going on here?
Right.
We got to play football out here. It's kind of bright, It's a pressure thing with him, honestly.
Yeah.
But,
so that's like you're talking about them, and a little question that I'll throw about the Vikings in there. They play the Panthers actually this week, and I forgot the Panthers are undefeated too, so we have 4 of them. So both of them teams play. Say that Vikings do go out there and they lose this game. Is it time for them to try to get something for Kirk Cousins? Just real quick.
Forgive me, but no, not yet. No, not yet. I mean,
give it till the end of the year.
No,
a team that started 0-4 has never went to the playoffs.
That's fine. That's fine, dude. They're not there. It doesn't matter. It's not like, me as like a coach, me sitting back, expressing this situation, I'd be like, okay, listen, we're not Super Bowl contenders. Doesn't seem like we're even playoff contenders. Let's get ourselves together, win a few games this year, find our identity and what's working for us, what's good. Because look, there's another year. There's 5 more years. There's 10 more years. There's going to be players that are going to be here. There's going to be players that aren't. But me as a football coach, knowing my tenure is probably going to be up here soon. I understand. I get it. If you go 0-5, man, you're going to get fired, dude. If you hit the trade deadline, you ain't got a damn win. You're going to be fired, my brother. It's gonna happen, and especially if you don't really have much to, be upset with yourself. Be upset with the team about, because it's there. The talent is in Minnesota. I said it way before we started the season. I went Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago. I know they had it, but it's like they don't got it every week. And if Kirk Cousins is the reason that Minnesota is hanging in games, they ain't gonna be winning much.
And you said something real quick that I want to touch on before we go on to the next thing that I really like. And everybody's, even me, is like, not give up on Kirk Cousins because he's not the problem. But to what can we get for him? And then do we tank and we get that? But man, it almost might be a situation, like you said it perfect, where so if you do continue to lose these games by a point or 2 or 3 throughout the year, and you do F around and find out that, oh man, I might be in the top, a Drake May, a Shedeur Sanders, a Caleb Williams, and then have Kirk Cousins there 1 more year, sign him to a pretty good 1-year contract, and let one of these young guys learn behind a very good Kirk Cousins.
I mean, can you just like your point? Because I know I mentioned that same thing earlier. What? Yeah. Why are you mad at Kirk Cousins? He's second in the league in yards, touchdowns, all this other stuff, completion percentages. It's not that, man. You got to. There's 2 sides of the football.
People. Well, teams nowadays abandon, and you know that happens.
I get it, and it's bullshit. Absolutely,
it is.
Me as a coach, I'd be way different. You turn this around. Wait a minute. That man is making completions. He's giving you opportunities. Y'all not stopping the football. You can't expect a quarterback to make every possession a point.
A touchdown. Yeah, no.
You cannot, dude. I mean, how many possessions last night did Green Bay score? 3? 1, 2, 3, 20. I think 20 points. That had to be what? 2, 4.
They scored 4 possessions.
So, okay. Out of the 4, I would love to go back and see how many possessions they had. I would guarantee you 15. Am I wrong? 15 to 20 possessions?
Yeah.
So that percentage, ladies and gentlemen, is just way down. That's 25% if they even had 20. You can't expect, and that's 20 points, 21 points, 28 points. I've said it a long time. 28 points should win you a football.
Yep.
28 points. 21 points should win you a football game. Okay? And that's a low number, because if you have a defense that's only giving up 2 touchdowns, which I still think is, that's mediocre. 2 tutties. All right, let's slow it down. That's 14 points. You're telling me your team can't score 17 points?
Yeah.
You better get back on the training field and get it together, man, because your team's not that.
Okay, so we answered that, and it's so funny because the Vikings play the other non-win team in the Panthers. I don't think there's much to say at the Panthers. I think they're the ones that are the least comfortable in this situation because they have nothing to lose. They know that this is a whole new rebuild. Everybody's young, so we're not even going to really delve into them. But the other 2 teams that have no wins, the Bears and the Broncos, play each other this week as well. That people make jokes. They need to flex this game to the Wednesday night at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And so out of those 2 teams, which one is the most disappointing to you?
Most disappointing, I'm gonna absolutely have. I mean, this year or like in the last little bit.
No, this year. this year because there was, I mean, Sean Payton's coming to the Broncos. They had, you know, if the Broncos would have scored an average more than an average of 17 points last year, they would have won every single game. You know, the savior Sean Payton, you know,
I would say
Russell Wilson looks
the most disappointing right now this year's got to be Chicago. They're not doing really anything. They can't put up yards.
Another team that at the beginning of the year, we're talking Justin Fields MVP. They got DJ Moore. You know, they got these boys. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of praise for a quarterback that I don't think needs praise. Listen, there's CJ Stroud's the best, you know, other than Anthony Richardson. We're just gonna wait here, but CJ Stroud looks like the best rookie so far coming out. Bryce Young ain't done a damn thing. Okay. And talking about CJ Stroud, I'm talking about Ohio State. That's what I'm going back to. And I always say that. I don't trust a damn thing that comes from Ohio State. Not one thing. And you know why? I've said this plenty of times. They play one team in the Big Ten that gives them a competition every year. It's Michigan. Other than that, ain't no talent up there. Not a spread of talent. So when they come to the NFL, Justin Fields, he can run. He's got some legs, but he cannot throw. He cannot throw the football. You know what? He's literally an epitome of a small, slower, non-accurate Lamar Jackson. He can run. Yeah. And how bad does that sound, dude? He's slow. He's slower than Lamar. Not as agile. He can't throw as good. And when they bark on how bad Lamar can hit a barn, you know, he throws one or two great bombs every other day. And this guy, I watched him throw a 10-yard hour out to a running back the other day, was 5 yards off. How do you even? There's not even that room for error. And he did it a few times. I watched him overthrow a guy 15 yards. I was like, how does this guy have a job? And I told you on the phone, I said, I'm just going to go put in my resume to these teams. I can throw the football. What do you need? What kind of resume you need? I'll make up one. I play Pee Wee. I mean, I think I'm qualified. I didn't play college.
I throw my wife a roll of paper towels like a football every Sunday.
I my wife the hell out of that ball. Come on, dude. The accuracy and the ridiculousness that some of these quarterbacks players are sitting out here with today. Like, I just get like I couldn't believe last night that Jordan Love could not get a pass off. Couldn't get. And when he did, it wasn't close. You know, it took like till the second or third quarter for him to like start snapping them. And I'm like, oh, hey, he can throw the football again. What's going on? You know, like it was just, it's ridiculous. But to your thing, most disappointing to me is definitely Chicago right now. But I want to say this. The most disappointing trade of all time for me has been Russell Wilson for the last 2 or 3 years. What they gave up for a man that's won 6 football games, 7 football games. I think he won 4 last year. He's won 1 this year, so maybe
he hasn't won any this year.
Oh, excuse me. Fuck. Sorry. Yeah, you said it there. 0-3. Yeah, so maybe he's only won 4 games in Denver. 5. They're 5-12. 300 some million. What was it? 280.
Oh yeah, I mean multiple first-round draft picks.
That's what I'm more mad about. I can give a shit about all the money. I don't care about all the money. It's the future that you wasted on him. 2 firsts, a second, a third, whatever the hell you gave him. Absolutely ridiculous, dude. You know who I'm giving somebody 3 firsts for? Tom Brady, Peyton and Manning. You know how many quarterbacks right now? How many quarterbacks? Let me ask you this real quick. Right now, how many quarterbacks in this league, starting quarterback, would you get 3 first-round picks for? The next 3 years. But
not only that, they got Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, which is a badass tight end.
Tight end, yeah.
Defense Shelby Harris, which is a stud. 2 first-round picks, which turned out number 9 overall. 2 second-round picks, number 40 overall, and a 2022 5th-round selection for him.
4 men, 4 grown men.
4 grown men.
And 4 fucking picks.
5 picks.
Worst trade in history.
Yeah, where's your insurance policy for that one?
Sir, can I train this kid? Can y'all take him back to Seattle, please?
And listen, and
I think
yeah,
Seattle's so much better off without him, dude.
all right, so I was hoping I was thinking you would go with the Chicago being, the upset. I think me and you have agreed enough and came to the conclusion Russell Wilson once was on a Hall of Fame career path. Maybe not now.
I think Russell in Denver is going to beat Chicago.
And oh yeah. And he's played, and Russell Wilson has played a lot better this year.
Yeah.
But going with Chicago and how disappointing it is, and how I think we both know that. What, in your opinion, fixes Chicago? Not fixes Justin Fields, not fixes the offense. I mean, what fixes that franchise? Because to me, it seems like they've walked away from that. Even though they knew they were going to lose, they still went out there with pride. They still fought hard. Now it just seems like they don't have that in them anymore. So what fixes Chicago, and does somebody like a John Harbaugh fix Chicago?
John Harbaugh coming to fix Chicago. I don't think that's what you need. I think you need someone in the organization that knows how crappy the organization has been, that wants to change that organization. I think it's someone hometown, homegrown that's in there that loves the Bears, that is tired of the Bears being the Bears and the shit storm that they've been. As to what that man and whoever that person could be would be able to do, it's not get rid of Justin Fields. That is not your issue. You need to learn how to draft. Simple. It's very hard, but it's a simple answer. You need to learn how to draft. You need to learn how to make trades. You don't go and make a trade, 3rd round pick for Chase Claypool, and then you go in the same breath, you go get a 2nd rounder for DJ Moore. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why didn't you use those picks for some offensive line, for something, for some defense? Look what Detroit did. Look what a few of these teams did. They built defenses, and then they just listen, there's offensive talent all over the place. All over the place. I think it is so much harder to build a solid defense to stop teams than it is to put up 35 points to win football. I don't think that's a problem at all, really. I mean, how many teams this year have not put up 25 points? Everyone. I think everyone has at least eclipsed 25 points. And like I've said, that is plenty enough to win a football game. But if you go and you look at how many teams have let under 21 points or less, that list is a lot small because there's no defense, dude. There's none in this league anymore. And if you have a good one, boy, like San Francisco, you ain't scoring 30 points on San Francisco. You ain't doing it unless you're a Miami or somebody with a high-flying, high-powered offense, and you might get 30. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of thing that I have always prided myself in kind of pushing towards is draft better. Shit, that's fantasy too. You need to look, research, send guys everywhere. Find the guys. I don't care if he gets a DUI, dude. Okay, so what? Don't pass. You know why everybody passed up
Carter? Jalen
Jordan,
Carter?
yeah, Jalen Carter, because he got a DUI? Yeah, your dude's a baller, bro. You guys are idiots, man. That dude is idiots. He's an absolute monster on the best.
Yeah, and that was a defining moment in his life that changed his life for the better, and he's an absolute monster.
Dude, he's like, you know what? I will do good. All those top 5 guys are like, yeah, no, you're not. We don't think so. We're not wasting that. Philly goes, oh, you felt us? Sure. Can we give him a call? Yeah. Jalen Carter? You mean a tackle from Georgia? The Nationals? Hey, buddy.
You want to come work?
Like that, dude, that phone call had to be 4 seconds. Sure, no problem. Bang.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it, dude. And when they went and got into Kobe Dean, they got half of the Georgia Bulldogs defense. It's like, man. And I thought in my mind, I was talking to you, I was like, bro, that is so smart. Like these guys, like this is ridiculous. Like it's easy when it just falls in your lap. right there. And then literally the whole next round, they went and got Nakobe Dean. I'm like, they're just drafting the whole national title defense, bro. Like these boys have played with each other for years. They know each other. Yep. That's smart drafting. Yeah. No, did they need some other pieces? Yeah, but we can get them. We can
develop that. We got pure fucking raw talent right here.
I can teach a big white dude to block left and right. Don't worry about that. I was like, I got chemistry here. That's something that's hard to find.
That's good thinking.
That's why Joe Burrow was like, hey, go get my dude. Go get him. I don't care I don't care about an offensive line. We can figure that out.
Trevor Lawrence. Go get my man.
Go get my man. I want him from Clemson. Yep, go get him, please. And look, they're a dominant force, man. It's people that got friends. Friends play well with friends, dude.
Yeah.
And sometimes you listen to them. Sometimes you're like, yeah, they don't really care about your friend. It's like, okay, I guess we're gonna go down the shithole then. No problem.
Yeah.
You know, I got my $6 million this year, buddy. I don't care. You're the one calling the plays. You know, and I think a lot of them go through that feeling and that stress. Like, you know, are you gonna go get my guy? Are you gonna help me out here? And like for years, Aaron Rodgers, I can feel his stress. Hey, can you give me some help? Hey, can you give me some help? They keep passing up top talent, passing it through the draft. Then they go to get a defensive tackle, and we're like, what's going on in the room? It's like nobody knows, dude. Nobody has a clue because I don't think they have a clue what they're doing. And
yeah, well, when you come from every team's got an identity, and with Green Bay, their identity is we develop skill position players, and they're the best at it. And I mean, it goes to show you take, you know, guys like Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson who get drafted in the late 7th and 8th rounds, and it's like, you know, but I think you alluded to so much stuff. You broke it down perfect. I mean, it was beautiful about, you know, all the way from drafting to play. Me and you are on different. I did put money on Justin Fields to win MVP this year, but it was you knew what the reason was for. And it was the jinx the division. And it looks like it's working so far. I put that voodoo in them, boy.
They love your money, buddy.
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, it's one of those situations that it needs to be fixed all around. I think Justin Fields is garbage. I definitely don't think he'll be there next year. They probably might trade him before the deadline. And to me, I do see a big, big change coming in that organization. But we have about 10 minutes left, so we'll knock these ones out real quick because there's not a lot of negative to talk about, and the other ones there were a lot of negative to talk about. We got 3-3-0 teams with Miami, the Eagles, and San Francisco. So you got Philly, Miami, and San Francisco. Out of those three teams, which one impresses you the most, and which one is highly suspect?
Sorry, I was answering my pregnant wife. My fault. Highly suspect? That's kind of tough, dude. I mean, because those three teams, there was 3 teams, correct? I'm not missing one.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of talent, but there's a lot of, you know, misdirection, I think you could say, in the way, like San Francisco, like you said, top of the league, no problem. Don't see them falling. Don't see them flurrying. I'm talking full 14-3. That's, you know, 17 game season, 14-3. You know, if they do lose a game, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be. It might just be offensive flurries. Them not being able to put up 17 plus points, and a, you know, team gets on them 20, 25. You know, teams say sprays a few points on them. But other than that, you know, so what were the other 2 teams again? Sorry, now I got talking about San Francisco,
Miami, and Philly.
Miami, Philly. So with Miami, defense is gonna kill it. It's gonna ruin everything they're gonna work hard for. I think at the end of the season, all these points that they're gonna put up, winning their games. I could see them going 13-0 before they lose. If somebody swipes in there, I haven't looked at their schedule, but I could see them going. They're going to be the last team to be undefeated. I think. I think San Francisco will give up a game first, but I think they'll be the last one. But when it comes down to the end, if they do get to the Super Bowl with San Francisco, whatever, it will be the defense that hurts them. And I've said that lots of times. It's defense that wins championships. It's not even me who says that. That's how it is. Yeah. Defense is going to win. They're going to flurry a lot. They're going to flush. They're going to kill. They're going to maim. They're going to murder every defense that comes along until they find the one that flushes them down and they can't get past that. And they better hope that that's not the one in the playoffs. Or, they better hope that's week 17 where they just missed it, and they get some turds throughout the playoff. But I think if they get even a stout LA defense, San Francisco, in the Super Bowl or whatever, that's going to be their demise, So Philly, perfect for right now. I think they're doing very, very good. I think Jalen needs to use his wide receivers more. I think he needs to flurry the ball more. I mean, honestly, dude, I got DeAndre Swift in 8 of the 9. Keep running him, brother. Keep, especially this week against is it Washington. Keep running him, please, brother. Keep destroy him. I'm telling you, give him the ball 25 times, please, at least. But from the moving on, I think he needs to spread that ball out. Dallas Goedert needs to get more work. He's a great tight end. He's got to push through. They got to get more touchdowns out of those guys. They're running the ball a ton with Swift and Gainwell, and Jalen Hurts doing his little, hands-on RPOs and things like that. But they're the same team they've been for 2 years now. And like I just alluded to when they drafted, and they made some great moves and great picks and things that made sense, and not just, well, this guy looks great because they said he is. Let's go get him.
Yeah.
Like there's been a few of those I've watched so many years. Teams are like, they're saying, hey, we got to get this guy, man. They're saying he's the best. They're saying, whoa, you don't need that guy, man. Stop all that. I've always hated it when teams do that. Oh, we need this guy because he's going to change the game. Well, he ain't going to change your game, because what's going to happen is he's going to get back behind that line, just like I said the other day on the podcast. Justin Fields got behind that line. He's like, I'm going to get sacked 6 times today. I'm going to get rushed 12 times. I'm not going to be able to throw the ball only fucking 25 times. I'm going to complete 7 of them. I'm going to be running for my life here, dude. It's like, I would want to go out there each day and have to deal with that. Now, when you have teams like Philly and Miami and those teams that can push the offenses together, that have those quarterbacks that can run behind them and get things done, it's a lot easier.
And I think to me, there's only one team that's been suspect, and I think that's sort of kind of the Eagles. They barely got past a New England team that Miami handled pretty
very
easy.
very very suspect in some ways.
And then they get toe to toe with Minnesota. And it's one of those things where if it wasn't for DeAndre Swift, it would have been really bad. So they're the only team that looks like a little bit suspect to me. But out of those 3 teams, I think that if Miami wins this weekend against the Bills, I think that they can go on a little bit of run until they face the Eagles in week 7. And the Eagles very well have an easy strength. So man, we might see a good 7-0 week 7 come to us would be nice, I
mean, two 7-0s would be sweet.
Yeah.
Be so sweet.
So sweet.
But yeah, we picked those. I picked Miami
by 3.
Yeah, Miami this week. I got Philly this week, and I got can't miss them. Anything in fantasy for those 3 teams, guys, you better play them.
It's going to be good. Yep, that's going to be
stay away from Stay away from Chicago. Stay away from Denver. Stay away from who else? Maybe stay away from
I would stay away from Las Vegas.
honestly, fantasy wise, probably stay away from that New Orleans Tampa Bay game. Probably.
Yeah.
A lot of defense. I would stay away. Fantasy wise, if you want to score a lot.
Yeah, play everybody for Kansas City.
Here we go again. Bet the house on Miami, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Miami's gonna beat Buffalo. Watch
Yeah,
this.
but I don't think it's going to be a 70-20 game. So
Absolutely not. They're not putting 70 points on Buffalo. They're going to be brought back.
Hey, you want to hear something funny?
Let's hear this.
The Chicago Denver game, you can get tickets for $24.
It's in Denver,
No, it's in Chicago, Soldier Field.
bro. Get your plane ticket. We'll go this weekend. I'll buy them.
He said, he said 24, you can buy my plane ticket? I could probably leave there right now. Probably. But we got 1 minute left, man. I appreciate you guys today. We switched the roles up a little on you at the end. I hope you enjoyed the show. We will holler at you come Monday about everything. Until then, be easy, lemon squeezy.
Yes, sir. See you guys. Love y'all.